Welcome, friends. Let us discuss nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy. The contents of our discussions are introduction, theory, principle, instrumentation of NMR, position of signal, that is chemical shift, shielding and deshielding effect, factors affecting chemical shift, in which we discuss electronegativity effect, anisotropic effect. Then the next point is intensity of signal and the spin-spin coupling, or we call it as the spin-spin splitting, and the last point is the application of NMR. Friends, NMR spectroscopy is an analytical technique useful for the identification of unknown compound, useful in the identification of structure of unknown compound. So it is useful in quality control as well as in research. The transition of nucleus occurs in radio frequency region, and this nucleus excites from ground state to the excited state by the absorption of radio frequency radiation. This particular phenomenon is called as the flipping of nucleus. The energy of radio frequency region is minimum in the electromagnetic spectrum, but this minimum energy is useful for the transition of nucleus from ground state to the excited state. This is the most fundamental part of NMR spectroscopy. All nuclei carries some charges. In some nuclei, this charge spins on the nuclear axis, and this spinning of nucleus around nuclear axis creates a magnetic dipole along the axis. The spin number I have various values 0, 1, 1 by 2, 3 by 2. But some nuclei having I value 0. Those nuclei represents no spin, no change in dipole moment. So these nuclei are NMR inactive. Now let us see the behavior of spinning top. The top has a spinning motion around the axis. See here in this diagram. While rotating around its own axis, it also forms another type of motion. We called it as a precessional motion. Similarly, when a spinning nucleus placed in an external magnetic field, it continues its spinning around its own axis, but along with it again start another motion, that is the precessional motion around the applied magnetic field. See here in this diagram, this nucleus form precessional orbit around the applied magnetic field. Now what happened? When such a nucleus absorb a radio frequency radiation, it creates a change in the angle of precession. See in this diagram, the angle of precession of nucleus changes due to the absorption of radio frequency radiations. Means the nucleus, alpha spin nucleus, changes into the beta spin nucleus by the absorption of radio frequency radiations. This particular phenomenon is called as the flipping of nucleus, and this phenomenon is responsible for the NMR spectrum, in which alpha spin nucleus are present in the ground state. See here in this diagram. According to quantum mechanics, the magnetic moment of some nucleus aligns with the applied magnetic field and hence are more stable, having less energy. We call this particular nucleus as the alpha spin nucleus, and the nuclei which opposes the applied magnetic field, that nuclei are less stable, having more energy. We call this nucleus as the beta spin nucleus. Now see here in this diagram, the spinning motion of proton, its spinning motion of nucleus of proton creates a magnetic field, but These nuclei are random without magnetic field. But when these nuclei place in a magnetic field, they either aligns the magnetic field or opposes the magnetic field. Now see here in this diagram. Alpha spin nucleus from the ground state absorb radio frequency radiations and get excited to the excited state. Means flipping of nucleus. See here. Alpha spin nucleus converts into the beta spin nucleus by the absorption of radio frequency radiations. This is the flipping of nucleus. Now, which nuclei? Here also. See here, the alpha spin energy states. The alpha, that is alpha nuclei having spin plus half, gets converted into the minus half beta spin. See here, spin changes from alpha to beta by the absorption of radio frequency radiations. Now, which nuclei are NMR active and which nuclei are NMR inactive? See here in this table, the spin quantum number I, 0. C12 having the spin quantum number I, 0. So, it is NMR inactive. While C13 nuclei is NMR active because its spin quantum number is 1 by 2. While 1H proton having spin quantum number I equals to 1 by 2. So, it is also NMR active. And we are discussing 1H NMR spectroscopy. From 1H NMR spectroscopy, we get an idea about the number of protons, types of protons present in our sample, in our organic compound. This is the instrumentation of NMR. The main part of instrument is the powerful magnets. In between this powerful magnet, a sample tube is placed along with sample and the solvent. Our sample should be soluble in that particular solvent. It will depend on the nature of solute or nature of our compound. There is a radio frequency transmitter and then amplifier, detector, recorder. Recorder gives its spectrum. See, the NMR machine consists of supercooled magnet, radio frequency transmitter, sample tube, detector and the recorder. The next point is the chemical shift. The chemical shift is the position of absorption band or absorption signal for a given type of hydrogen atom with respect to the tetramethylsilane. It is the position of, means the peak of our sample compounds on the NMR scale with respect to the tetramethylsilane. This particular region is called as the chemical shift, or this value is called as the chemical shift value. These values differs with the nature of protons, whether those protons are aromatic, aliphatic, attached to the sp3 hybridized carbon atoms. It differ from the nature of that proton. Chemical shift is calculated in ppm on the Dale scale by observed chemical shift downfield from the tetramethylsilane to the frequency of NMR instrument. Why we used tetramethylsilane as a reference compound or the standard compound? Because it is soluble in most organic solvent. Then it is inert. It does not react with organic compound and it is volatile and easily removable. And the main point is silicon is less electronegative than carbon and the hydrogen atoms. And all the 12 hydrogen atoms in tetramethylsilane are equivalent and gives a single peak, which is more shielded than the peaks of hydrogen atoms attached to the carbon atoms or the peaks of organic compound. So, it is used as a reference. And see here in this diagram, the peak of tetramethylsilane. The NMR scale starts from this tetramethylsilane peak, 0. As we move from 0 to 12, it is the shielding zone, and from 12 to 0, shielded zone increases. It is the spectrum of methanol. See here. The peak of tetramethylsilane present at the del value 0, or del value 0 start at the peak of tetramethylsilane. There are two peaks, another peaks for CH3 groups of methanol and the OH group for the methanol group. Now the information which we get from this spectrum. The first information is the number of signals, which tells how many types of protons present in the molecule. See here. In this spectrum of methanol, there are two peaks on the NMR scale. It clearly indicates that there are two sets of protons, two kinds of protons in the sample in methanol. Second information is the position of signal. The position of signal tells about the electronic environment of each proton. Now see here, the two peaks observed at del value 3.35 and del value 4.80, having different chemical shift value. This different chemical shift value is due to the different electronic environment of these two sets. One set is CH3 and another set is OH. In OH, proton is directly linked to the oxygen atom, electronegative oxygen atom. So it has higher del value or chemical shift value, while CH3, in case of CH3 set of proton, the three higher protons attached to the less electronegative carbon, having less chemical shift value. Means chemical shift value gives an idea about the electronic environment of the proton, set of proton. The third information is the intensity of signal. Intensity of signal means the height of signal. Here see, the first peak having higher intensity as compared to the second peak, because the first peak represents the three set of proton, represents the methyl group having three protons. So its intensity height is more as compared to the OH, because only one proton is attached to the electronegative oxygen atom. Means intensity of signal gives idea about the number of protons for that particular set. And the last point is the spin-spin splitting or splitting of the signals. This splitting gives an idea about the environment of proton with respect to the other or the neighboring proton. Now see here friends, now in number of signal we are discussing about the equivalent proton and the non-equivalent proton. In first example, ethane, equivalent protons are defined as the set of protons having same chemical environment. Those protons are equivalent protons. And the protons having different chemical environments are called as the non-equivalent proton. In ethane, both the CH3 groups, though there are two sets of proton, but both the CH3 groups are equivalent, having same chemical environment. So we get only singlet on the NMR scale, only one set of proton. In another example, 1,2-dichloroethane, there are two methyl groups attached to the chlorine atom, but both having the same chemical environment, and hence it has one set of proton, or we get a singlet for this compound also. In third example, in propane, see friends here, there are two sets of proton because two methyl groups are equivalent, having same chemical environment, both attached to the same CH2. So having same chemical environment, this is one set, first set, and the second set is the CH2 group because it is secondary. The proton attached to the secondary carbon atom. So propane contains two sets of proton. We get two peaks on the NMR scale for this compound. The fourth example is the xylene. In xylene, paraxylene, two methyl groups are equivalent, having same chemical environment, and the four hydrogen atoms ortho to both the methyl groups having the same chemical environment. See in this example, all the four hydrogen atoms of aromatic rings are equivalent because they having the same chemical environment. These four hydrogen atoms are ortho to the methyl groups, and hence it is the second set. So this compound contains two sets of proton, gives two peaks on the NMR scale. And the last example is diethyl ether. See in this example, the terminal methyl groups are equivalent, so and the two CH2 groups are equivalent because both CH2 link to the electronegative oxygen atom. So these compounds contain two sets of proton and gives two signals on the NMR scale. Now let us discuss non-equivalent proton. The set of protons having different chemical environment are called as the non-equivalent proton. In first example, 1,2-dichloropropane, there are three sets of proton. CH3 group is having the different chemical environment than CHCl because that CHCl is tertiary, while CHCl is having the different chemical environment than the CH2Cl. So there are three sets of protons in this 1,2-dichloropropane, and we get three peaks on the NMR scale for this compound. The second example is the 1-chloro-2-bromo, 1-bromo-2-chloroethane, in which there are two sets of proton because one CH2 linked to the bromine and another CH2 linked to the chlorine atom. Now in this example, propene. This is the important example. The two hydrogen atoms of CH2 linked to the double bond are non-equivalent. Why these two hydrogen atoms are non-equivalent? Because due to the double bond, it restricts the rotation of carbon-carbon single bond, due to which both the hydrogen atoms are having the fixed position with respect to the another that B hydrogen atoms linked to the another carbon atom, and hence the two HB and HC are trans to each other, and HB and HD protons are cis to each other. So both HC proton and HD proton having the different chemical environment. So in this compound, in propene, there are four sets of proton, or propene gives four peaks on the NMR scale. The last example, parachlorophenol. See here, the protons ortho to the chlorine atoms are equivalent, having same chemical environment. Proton ortho to the hydroxy groups are equivalent, having same chemical environment. And the third set is the proton attached to the electronegative oxygen atom. So this compound gives three sets of proton, three signals on the NMR scale. The position of signals or chemical shift value. As we move from 0 to 12, the de-shielding effect increases, and as we move from 12 to 0, the shielding effect increases. Means the peak for the proton attached to the sp3 hybridized carbon atom is shielded, while the peak for the aldehydic proton or the carboxylic proton is more de-shielded. This is the chemical shift value of various types of proton. Now the factors which affect chemical shift. First factor is the electronegativity of nearby atoms. Second factor is the anisotropic effect. Third factor is the electron releasing group effect. Now first let us discuss the first factor, electronegativity. In this table, see, the electronegativity of fluorine atom is 4, while that is the chlorine atom is 3.1. And the chemical shift value for the set of proton attached to the fluorine in CH3F having del value 4.26 in ppm, while the chemical shift value for the CH3Cl in for CH3Cl set of proton having value 3.05. The chemical shift value of methyl chloride is less as compared to the chemical shift value for the proton of methyl fluoride because the electronegativity of fluorine atom is more. The fluorine, more electronegative element, withdraws electrons toward itself, and hence the electron density around the CH3 of methyl fluoride is less as compared to the methyl chloride. And these electrons opposes, or the magnetic field of electron opposes the applied field. So, though there are less density of electrons in methyl fluoride, it opposes less, and hence the electronegativity or the chemical shift value of methyl fluoride is more as compared to the methyl chloride. Second effect is the anisotropic effect. In ethylene, there are 2 pi electrons, and this pi electron circulates around their own axis, creating another type of magnetic field. It is called as the induced magnetic field, which is produced due to the circulation of pi electrons. Now, these colored circles, dotted circles, represent the induced magnetic field in ethylene. See the directions of induced magnetic field rotating. And this B0 is the applied magnetic field. When this induced magnetic field reinforces the applied magnetic field, or the region where this induced magnetic field reinforces having the same direction with the applied magnetic field, it is called as this region is called as the de-shielded region, while the central region where induced magnetic field opposes the applied magnetic field, this zone is called as the shielded zone. When proton comes in the de-shielded zone, it's having the more chemical shift value. So the ethylene proton having the chemical shift value from del 4.5 to 6 ppm, having the chemical shift value from 4.5 to 6 ppm. Let us compare this ethylene with the acetylene proton. See here in this acetylene, the 2 hydrogen atoms of acetylene comes in the shielded zone. See here, where induced magnetic field opposing the applied magnetic field. So, the chemical shift value for these protons are see here in this table. The chemical shift value for the alkyl proton is 0.821, while that of acetylenic protons having ranges from 2 to 3, and the vinylic proton ranges from 4.6 to 5.7. Though there are 2 pi bonds in acetylene, but its chemical shift value is less than the vinylic or the ethylenic proton, because acetylenic proton present in the shielded zone and the vinylic protons present in the de-shielded zone. So, their chemical shift values are different, and these vinylic protons Due to this vinylic proton present in de-shielded zone, it comes in more resonance with the applied field. Now, in this diagram, see the regions, various region. The aromatic proton, the peaks for the aromatic proton appears from 6.5 to 8 region, and the aldehydic or the carboxylic proton appears in between the 9 to 12. Now the third point is the peak area and proton counting, that is the intensity of signal. See here, for this paraxylene there are two sets of protons in paraxylene. First set is 4 hydrogen atoms of aromatic, and the second set is B, the 6 hydrogen atoms or 6 protons of 2 methyl groups. Now intensity of signal is the height of signal for each set of proton. From height of signal we get an idea about the number of protons for that particular set, for that particular peak. See here, in the first peak its height is 6 mm, and for the second peak its height is 4 mm. Why the intensity of first signal is more? The intensity of first signal is more because this is the peak of B set of proton and it represents 6 hydrogen atoms, while the peak second, another peak having 4 mm value, because this peak represents the 4 protons of aromatic ring. Means intensity of height gives an idea about the total number of protons for that particular peak. Here one proton, height of one proton equivalent to 1 mm. 6 mm represents 6 proton and 4 mm represents the 4 hydrogen atoms. Now the last point is the spin-spin splitting or spin-spin coupling. In spin-spin splitting, the spin of two non-equivalent set of protons couples with each other at the resonance point and splits singlets into the multiplets. There are two rules to calculate the multiplets of each set of proton. The first rule is the n plus 1 rule. Friends, as we discussed that spin-spin splitting gives an idea about the electronic environment or the environment of the neighboring sets of proton. It also gives an idea about the number of neighboring number of protons. The first rule is the n plus 1 rule. Here n equals to number of hydrogen atoms non-equivalent to it, that adjacent non-equivalent hydrogen atoms. Let us discuss the first example, that is the ethanol, CH3CH2OH. In ethanol there are 3 sets of proton, but see here, A, B and the C. HA set of proton. Here we are calculating the number of lines for the HA set of proton, that is for the CH3 group. Friends, here this CH3 is linked to the neighboring CH2. So NB plus 1, where NB are the total number of protons in B set. So B set is having 2 protons, 2 plus 1 equals to 3. We get triplet for HA. Then HC proton. Remember one thing, when a proton is linked to the heteroatom, it does not undergo spin-spin splitting with the neighboring set of proton. So OH or the C sets of proton gives singlet, as proton is linked or attached to the heteroatom, oxygen atom. Now the number of multiplets for CH2 set or the B sets equals to Na plus 1. Its neighboring set of proton is Na or A set. Here we are not considering Nc because it does not undergo spin splitting. So Hb equals to Na plus 1. The number of protons for Na sets is are 3. 3 plus 1 equals to 4. It gives quartet. The two spectrum for ethanol. First spectrum is at low resolution and second spectrum is at high resolution. High resolution means, see here, I am resolving this image, magnifying this image. This is high resolution, this is low resolution. In high resolution we see multiplets, and in low resolution these multiplets appear as a singlet. In low resolution it gives three signals due to the three sets of proton A, B and C. See, first signal is for CH3 group, second signal is for CH2 group, and the third signal is for the OH group. The OH signal appears more de-shielded and the CH3 signal appears less de-shielded because these proton attached to the electronegative oxygen atom, and CH3 is far away from the electronegative oxygen atom. Electronegativity effect. And here these singlets and the singlets convert into the multiplets in the high resolution. For CH3 sets of proton get divided into the triplet. So first singlet divided into the triplet, another singlet divided into the quartet, that is the singlet of CH2 gets divided into the 4 lines, and the singlet of HC, as it does not undergo spin splitting, it gives a broad singlet, only the singlet. This is all about the spin splitting of ethanol. Now see various examples. Let us calculate the number of lines for various compounds. Here we are comparing this first example with the another example, first and two example. This is 1,1-dibromoethane and second example is the 1-bromoethane. In this compound also there are two sets of proton, and in second compound there are also two sets of proton, A and B. Let us calculate the number of lines for the HA set of proton. HA equals to Nb plus 1, where Nb is the number of protons attached to the neighboring carbon atom. Here 1 plus 1 equals to 2. We get doublet for HA set of proton, and for HB set of proton equals to Na plus 1. The number of protons for A set are 3. 3 plus 1 equals to 4. We get quartet for the HB set of proton, doublet and quartet. While in 1-bromoethane, the number of lines for HA set of proton equals to Nb plus 1. Now see here. Here there are only 1 protons in the Nb set, and here there are 2 protons in the Nb set. So 2 plus 1 we get triplet for CH3, and HB sets of proton gives quartet as in the first example. In this way we can differentiate both the examples, both the compounds, with the help of spin splitting. For 1,1-dibromoethane we get doublet and quartet for A and B, and for 1-bromoethane we get triplet and quartet for A and B. And the last example is the 2-bromopropane. In 2-bromopropane, first calculate the sets of proton, total sets of proton. Here both the methyl groups are, CH3 groups are equivalent. So this is the first set, and another set is the CH group. So there are two sets of proton. Now calculate the number of lines for HA sets equals to Nb plus 1. 1 plus 1 equals to 2. It gives doublet. And for HB set of proton, Na plus 1. Now the number of protons for A sets are 6. So 6 plus 1, 7. We get septet for CH Hence, spin splitting gives an idea about the environment, neighboring carbon environment. This is the spectrum of 2-bromopropane. How that doublet and septet appears on the NMR scale of the spectrum of 2-bromoethane. See here, we get doublet for A set of proton, HA, and septet for the B set of protons. This is the doublet for A set of proton appears at 1.6 to the 1.8, and septet appears for 4.3 to 4.4. This is the spectrum. The second rule: when all the neighboring non-equivalent protons are of different kinds, then we can apply this second rule, Na plus 1 into Nc plus 1. Let us consider this example, 1-bromopropane. In 1-bromopropane, there are 3 sets of proton, A, B and C. Both the 3 sets are non-equivalent. Now calculate for A and C sets of proton, both sets having only the one kind of equivalent proton. So we are applying first rule for the calculation of multiplets for A and C. But for the B sets of proton, there are, see friends here, for B sets of proton, there are 2 non-equivalent sets of proton, A and C. So here we are applying second rule to calculate the multiplets. Now let us calculate the HA sets of proton. Multiplets for HA sets of proton. CH3 set equals to NB plus 1, because neighboring of CH3 is B sets of proton, NB plus 1. The number of protons for B sets are 2, 2 plus 1, 3. Means we get triplet for CH3 group, and then CH, now here see the HB, number of lines for HB sets of proton, or the CH2, HB. The neighboring non-equivalent sets of proton for HB are HA and HC. So Na plus 1 into Nc plus 1. Total number of HA protons are 3 plus 1, 4 lines, and Nc protons are 2 plus 1, 3 lines. 4 into 3, 12 lines. We get total 12 lines or 12 multiplets for B sets of proton. This is the multiplicity of B sets of proton, and again Hc gives triplet. Now see how these 12 lines appears. Let us see these 12 lines in the tree diagram. How these non-equivalent kinds of proton couples, neighboring couples. HB protons, for as we already discussed, for HB protons we get total 12 lines. How those 12 lines appears? First, HB protons couples with the 3 HA protons. That 3 HA protons splits the HB signals into the 4 peaks. See these 4 peaks, 1, 2, 3 and 4. And again these 4 lines couples, spin of these 4 lines couples with the 2 HC protons, which further splits this HB signals into the triplet, 2 plus 1. So each line splits into the triplet. So we get total 12 lines. Means Na plus 1 into Nc plus 1. In this way we get total 12 lines. This is the tree diagram for the CH2 multiplets, to calculate the multiplets of CH2 set of proton. This is the application of NMR in organic chemistry. By observing all this discussion, we can easily use the application. It helps to calculate the different kinds of protons. NMR helps to calculate the different kinds of protons. Then it is useful to use the number of protons for relative number of protons for each compound. Position of signals tells about an idea about the electronic environment of proton. Then it also gives the peaks of OH and NH2 proton, which are exchangeable with D2O. By exchanging the peak of OH and NH2 with D2O, those peaks disappears. It clearly gives an idea about the peaks of OH and NH2. This is the main application of NMR spectroscopy. Then NMR gives an idea about the aromatic protons, then protons attached to the sp3 hybridized carbon atom, sp2 hybridized carbon atom, then vinylic proton, then allylic protons. All these kinds of protons can be identified with the help of NMR spectroscopy, which are useful in the interpretation of unknown compounds, interpretation for the structure of unknown compound. NMR spectrums are also used in the medical field also. See here, the MRI technique used in the medical field. This MRI is the specialist application of multidimensional Fourier transformation. This is the MRI of spinal cord. This is MRI instrument. With the help of the MRI, we can also identify the brain tumor. And these are the books to refer for this topic. Friends, let us see the theory. Theory of NMR includes the transition of nucleus from ground state to the excited state by the absorption of radio frequency radiations. This phenomenon is called as the flipping of nucleus or the transition of nucleus, but in presence of magnetic field. The nuclei excited to the excited state return back to the ground state emitting energy. That energy get detected by the detector, amplifier and recorder gives the spectrum. Spectrum gives an idea about the types of protons, kinds of protons, their electronic environment and their total number of protons for each set. Then spin splitting tells an idea about the electronic environment on the neighboring carbon atom. In this way we can determine the structures, exact structure for the unknown compound, which is useful in research in quality control. Now we will solve the problems of NMR in the next session.